Hello, Miss Needham.
Hello.
I have two questions I was going to ask you.
Okay.
The first one is, what's the difference between logical consequences and punishment?
I guess with logical consequences, it fits exactly what they've done. So if someone is talking and I've told them more than once not to talk and I tell them to change their clip, that's logical. If they're talking and I tell them to change their clip, and if they're talking and instead of me just telling them to change their clip because that is what is expected of them, and maybe I might tell them to go to the office and I call their parents, then to me that is not logical because it's not, the punishment is not fitting exactly what they've done.
Consequence should be something that follows whatever the child did. For instance, if they purposely knocked over their pencil box, they need to be able, or better yet, if they drew all over their desk, their consequence is that they are going to have to deal with what happened to their desk, and they're going to clean it up and fix whatever the problem was. A punishment would be something completely unrelated to what actually the child did that got them in a little bit of trouble. Whether it's sitting out at recess or something like that, that would be a punishment, but it doesn't logically follow what happened with the child in the first place.
So a punishment is used to just like directly enforce the rules of the classroom, whereas a logical consequence is directly related to the student's behavior, helps them fix their mistakes by being calm and respectful to the students, and they take responsibility for their actions.
Question is, how do you implement those logical consequences?
Well, I guess as I said with changing the clip, so what we do is, or we talk about what is expected of them in the classroom, what is expected of the student in the classroom. We talk about it, we model it, we practice it. And so then they are aware of what's expected of them. So, and they are aware of what the consequences will be if they don't follow through with it. So we put those steps in place. So if they don't follow those, we call them agreements, then they know what the consequences are, and then they have to follow that, which is changing their clip and possibly no going home to the parents.
Okay, thank you.
You're going to be implementing with children, you have to establish what the rules are first, very first thing, and then you have to explain to them what happens if they don't follow the rules. So at the beginning of any school year, you're spending a lot of time on what the expectations are and what happens as a consequence if they're not meeting the expectations. There's lots of different forms that can take: red light, green light, yellow light. We use a clip chart here, so the consequence to a lot of actions that happen that maybe are not following the rules that are established in the classroom are that they need to move their clip down. And then they're recording for accountability what their ending color is. What I like about the clip chart is that there's also consequences for doing the right thing and for consistently following the rules that were established at the very beginning, so they can be rewarded for their good behavior and also reminded of ways that they need to improve their behavior if they have to move their clip down. It's supposed to be a reminder to stop and think so that it doesn't keep happening. Okay,
so we kind of say like the punishment has to fit the crime. So for example, if a student is not using their math manipulatives the way that they should, instead of, you know, having them move their level and sit out for recess, the logical consequence would be that they just don't get to use those math manipulatives for this lesson. You know, it has to kind of like go with what their behavior, whatever they're doing wrong. Also, if it's something like if a student is drawing on the table instead of, you know, drawing on their paper, we'll say, what did you do wrong? Why did you do that? How can we fix this? What do you feel like needs to happen to fix your mistake? And normally they'll be like, oh, well, I need to clean the table. So their logical consequence for drawing on the table is they have to wash it off. So.